Well, thank you so much, Mayor Christie. And I have to say, I had the most amazing drive up here through the fall leaves to Grand Rapids. I literally took videos right outside of town to send to my daughter because it's so beautiful today. And the sun is shining on this town, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that you are ahead of your time, that you were willing to take a chance on a really unique project that fits our changing demographics in Minnesota, and the fact that we have people living longer, the fact that we have found ways, especially in greater Minnesota, to find places for people with disabilities to be able to live and work and be part of our community. So I'm really excited. I also see my friend Tom Saxhog out there with his cool sunglasses, trying to look like the president, I guess. And then I also wanted to acknowledge the city administrator, Mayor, who brought me a petitza. I have Slovenian roots, and I truly enjoyed that special thought. So we serve petitza from time to time in my office in Washington, and as you may know, in northern Minnesota there are several petitza makers, and we never say which one made the petitza because there's a lot of competition going on up here. I also wanted to recognize MnDOT Interim Deputy Commissioner and Chief Engineer Gene Wallace, all the great MnDOT leaders that are here today for this exciting launch of this goMARTI project. These free on-demand shuttles will make a real difference by making it easier to get around town. goMARTI will give seniors and people with disabilities increased access to the transit services they depend on, and providing an additional transportation option for residents and visitors alike. It will help us to meet Grand Rapids' increasing transit needs. And what we're doing here, and what MnDOT and the mayor, local, state, federal, what we've done here is to harness cutting-edge technological innovations to address critical community priorities. It really represents the best of what we can do with partnerships. And it's so important because we need transit systems and ways to get around that match where we are now and where we're going to be, not where we were 100 years ago. That was a lot about what the bipartisan infrastructure law that I worked hard to pass accomplished. And we're going to get that 21st century transit system in place. I think you all know about the funding for roads. I had really interested MnDOT just report back really interesting rides today on about 8 dirt roads because it was fine. It was just work that's being done. Just shows work in progress as they diverted the traffic. And I think you know, my dad once wrote a book called 8 Miles Without a Pothole is the closest to heaven I'll ever get. And so we continue to work on our roads, on broadband, so important to greater Minnesota. The pandemic put this big magnifying glass on all that. We have 144,000 people in our state, families in our state that don't have high-speed access, a lot of them in northern Minnesota, rural counties. And so I'm really excited that we're finally going to be able to connect every corner of our state. And then, of course, we also created the Strengthening Mobility and Revolutionizing Transportation Grant. Guess what that stands for? Strengthening S, Mobility M, and Revolutionizing R, Transportation. The SMART Grant. We're always really good at coming up with these in Washington. Which will provide communities with resources to deploy high-tech systems such as logistics and connected vehicles to boost efficiency. So these grants are going to enable programs like goMARTI throughout our state and the country. So as today's launch will show us, our state is once again ahead of the curve. So what we want is to get those grants out, not only to expand this program here in Grand Rapids, but it's going to become a showcase as other communities, right, are looking in our state and in other places what they can do with this technology. We know that the demographics show us we're going to see a doubling of our senior population in the next few decades. We've already seen major increases. It's great that people are living longer, but we're seeing that doubling of the population. We have to think about how we're going to accommodate that so people don't all have to move somewhere else, so they can stay where they are and live where they are and be with their grandkids and go to their favorite places. And so that's a lot about what this is, as well as helping our people with disabilities to be able to be thriving members of our community. So I can't wait to see this. I think we're going to see a model. Is that correct? And I don't even have to drive it? Correct? Okay, that's good. So I want to thank all of you, and I think we're going to turn it over to Deputy Commissioner Gene Wallace, who will take it from here. Thanks, everyone.